I remember the exact moment she sat down because it wasn't supposed to happen. The train was already moving. The kind of late evening ride where people avoid eye contact and bury themselves in their phones, pretending they're somewhere else. I had taken the window seat same as always. Routine had become my way of surviving the silence in my life. I'm Marcus, by the way, and if you had asked me that night what I believed in, I would have told you I believed in patterns, in cause and effect, in the idea that everything could be explained if you just looked hard enough. God wasn't part of that equation anymore, not since the accident, not since the night everything I loved disappeared in a single brutal moment. So when she sat next to me, I didn't think it meant anything. At first, she dropped into the seat like she was late, breath slightly uneven, clutching a worn leather bag against her chest. Her hair was messy, like she had been running her fingers through it all day, and there was something in her eyes that didn't match the rest of her. Fear. Not the loud kind, the quiet, buried kind. She looked at me for half a second and then immediately looked away. "I think I'm in the wrong seat," she said under her breath. I glanced at the empty rows around us. "Plenty of space," and I replied, "You're fine." She nodded, but she didn't relax. Not even a little. People settle into seats. They shift, adjust, exhale. She didn't. She stayed stiff, fingers gripping the strap of her bag, like it was the only thing keeping her grounded. I should have ignored it. That's what I had trained myself to do. Keep to myself. Don't get involved. Don't ask questions that might pull you into someone else's storm. But something about her made that impossible. Maybe it was the way her eyes kept flicking toward the door at the end of the train car. Or maybe it was the way my chest tightened for no clear reason, like some part of me recognized something my mind didn't. "You okay?" I asked. She hesitated. Then she gave me a small, practiced smile, the kind people wear when they don't want to tell the truth. "Yeah," she said. "Just long day." I nodded, pretending to accept that answer. But I didn't, because I had seen that look before. In the mirror. The train rattled forward, cutting through the darkness outside. And for a few minutes, we sat in silence. But it wasn't peaceful silence. It was heavy, pressurized, like something was about to happen. And then the door at the end of the car slid open. I felt her body tense beside me. Two men stepped in. They didn't belong to this quiet, tired crowd. You could tell immediately. Their energy was wrong. Too sharp. Too focused. And their eyes went straight to her. That's when everything inside me shifted. She saw them too. I felt it in the way her breath caught, in the way her hand tightened on her bag until her knuckles turned white. "They found me," she whispered. It wasn't meant for me, but I heard it anyway. "What?" I asked, turning toward her. She didn't look at me this time. Her gaze stayed locked on the floor. "I shouldn't have gotten on this train," she said, her voice barely audible. "I thought I lost them." My mind started racing, trying to piece together what was happening, trying to decide if this was my problem or not. And then one of the men started walking toward us. Slow, deliberate, like he knew she had nowhere to go. "Hey!" he called out, his voice cutting through the quiet car. "There you are." No one else reacted. People heard him, sure, but they chose not to get involved. That's what people do. They look away. They pretend it's not happening. I used to be one of them. Until that night. Until I lost everything because no one stepped in. My heart started pounding, not from fear but from something else, something I hadn't felt in a long time. Purpose. She finally looked at me, really looked at me this time, and in her eyes I saw it clearly. She wasn't just scared. She was desperate. "Please," she whispered. "Don't let them take me." And just like that, the decision was made. Not logically, not carefully, but completely. I leaned back slightly, putting my arm along the back of the seat behind her, closing the space between us just enough to change the picture. When the man reached us, I met his gaze without flinching. "Problem?" I asked. He looked at me, then at her, then back at me. His expression shifted, calculating. "She's with us," he said. I shook my head slowly. "Doesn't look like it." The tension in the air snapped tight. The second man moved closer now, standing just behind the first. "You don't want to get involved," he said. I almost laughed. That was the story of my life, wasn't it? Don't get involved. Don't take risks. Don't care too much. And look where that had gotten me. "I already am," I replied. The first man's jaw tightened. "She owes us." "She doesn't owe you anything," I said. even though I had no idea if that was true. But something told me it didn't matter, because this wasn't about money. This was about control and fear, and the way people use both to keep someone trapped. The girl beside me shifted slightly, her shoulder brushing mine. I could feel her shaking now. The man leaned in closer, lowering his voice. "You have no idea what you're doing," he said. He was right. I didn't, but for the first time in a long time I didn't need to. "Then explain it to me," I said calmly. For a second I thought he might push further. But then something changed. Maybe it was the way I held his gaze. Maybe it was the fact that other passengers were starting to notice now, even if they weren't stepping in. Or maybe it was something else entirely, something he couldn't quite place. He straightened, exhaling sharply. "This isn't over," he muttered. Then he turned and walked away, the second man following close behind. The door slid shut behind them, and just like that the air shifted again. But this time it felt different. Lighter. She let out a breath I don't think she realized she had been holding. For a few seconds neither of us spoke. Then she turned to me, her eyes filled with something I hadn't seen before. Not fear. Relief. "Why did you do that?" she asked. I thought about it. About the version of me from a year ago. The one who would have stayed quiet, looked away, convinced himself it wasn't his responsibility. "I don't know," I said honestly. But that wasn't entirely true. Deep down I did know. Because for the first time since the accident, since I had lost my wife and my daughter in a moment I couldn't control, I didn't feel empty. I felt like I was exactly where I was supposed to be. "What were they to you?" I asked gently. She looked down at her hands. "My stepbrother," she said. "And his friend." I frowned. "Family?" She nodded, but there was no comfort in it. They've been using me," she said. "Money, threats. I tried to leave. Tonight was my chance." Her voice cracked slightly. "I didn't think they'd find me." I felt something twist inside my chest. Anger, but also something else. Understanding. "You're not going back," I said firmly. She looked up at me, searching my face like she was trying to decide if she could believe that. "You don't even know me," she said. I gave a small, tired smile. "Maybe I was supposed to," I replied. She blinked, caught off guard by that, and then slowly something shifted in her expression. Hope. The train continued forward, the city lights blurring past, the window. But everything felt different now. Like this wasn't just another random night. Like this wasn't just coincidence. And for the first time in a long time, I let myself consider something I had refused to believe. Maybe this wasn't random at all. Maybe she hadn't sat next to me by mistake. Maybe, somehow, she had been placed there. For a reason. When we reached the next station, I stood up and looked at her. "Come on," I said. "You're not doing this alone anymore." She hesitated for only a second before taking my hand. And as we stepped off that train together, I realized something I hadn't felt since the night I lost everything. Not closure, not healing, but the beginning of it. And maybe that's how it works. Not all at once. Not in some grand, perfect moment, but in small, unexpected encounters, in choices, in courage, in the quiet realization that sometimes, when everything feels broken and meaningless, God still finds a way to place someone exactly where they need to be. Even if it looks like a mistake. Even if it starts with something as simple as the wrong seat.